Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I created Magic and Miracles in order to help people of all walks of life all around the world achieve their manifestation goals. All the information from me is below. Please understand that if you'd like to be in coaching with me, you first need to book a 1 hour session, upon conclusion of which, if we both decide to move forward with the coaching, you are expected to book what is called the signature coaching package. The links are below in the description as well as attached to the YouTube store. What that is 3 times per week we meet via a Zoom session or a phone call, and we dive through the steps of my coaching program. This is a coaching program that does not exist anywhere else. I've created it throughout the last 10 years of being a coach. Okay, out of my experiences, interactions, my own experiences, obviously, and of course, but most importantly, also out of the 15 years of my own journey. So, all of the best methods, all of the best techniques, if you will, the stuff, the golden stuff that really does work. So, I do recommend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me, but in some cases, the frequency with which I coach depends on how much drama, trauma, panorama we need to process. What is drama, trauma, panorama? If you're just tuning in, and by the way, like, subscribe, and share, you're going to learn a lot on this channel. I promise you that. It's something that you need to let go of energetically to become a higher version of you. In other words, another way of saying it is to process something that you picked up on that other timeline that you're living out right now, and in which what you desire is, quite frankly, impossible. It's factually impossible, it's just energetically impossible. When you process whatever you're not letting go of, whatever's still hanging on to you for dear life, the old programming, the old emotionality, all of that, then you are empowered to jump timelines and end up on such a timeline in which everything is easy. So the frequency differs. Like I said, sometimes the person starts with the signature coaching package 3 times per week, but sometimes on second month we switch to 2 times per week. So now I've just made some updates to my coaching packages. What was on the go is still called on the go, but I augmented it to 8 sessions, which is for somebody who will potentially go from signature to on the go in my coaching twice a week. The frequency is, but the price changed because I augmented the number of sessions. So that's new, as well as on May 3rd. Okay, I'm going to have my first seminar. So you can sign up. It's again in the description as well as attached to the YouTube store. What we'll be covering is how to rescript your beliefs. So this is a 2 hour event. You do need to sign the coaching agreement for everything. Any product that you buy off my website, you do need to sign the coaching, even if you're buying the audios that I have on sale. So they contain coaching information. So you need to sign the coaching agreement. You need to print that, sign it, by hand, print your name, I mean, and then scan it and send it back to me. Okay, that's the only way I accept things. As a very, very, very last resort, will I accept a clear copy. Okay, a clear picture, I mean, of the copy that is signed by hand. That is the only way I operate. So why, I mean, this should be in your best interest as well, because this agreement covers me as well as it covers you, quite frankly. So happy Easter to those who celebrate today. This is why I'm dressed like this. I wanted to make sure I cover everything, and just to set expectations going forward. As I've said, I've been kind of like really busy with coaching, etc., etc. I think going forward, what I'm going to do on this channel is have the lives, have this interaction with all of you, and have these long messages. But in the middle of the week, I think I just want to manage expectations and say that, it's way more comfortable with my schedule to record an audio. I mean, this is how my channel started out, and this is kind of really easy for me for channeling because I do channel. So that's kind of what feels good right now for me. I know you like to see my face and all this. This is why I'm going to come on Saturdays, unless I'm doing a seminar like the one on May 3rd. It will be on a Saturday and it will be at 3 p.m. Okay, so if you want to book that, go ahead and do that. So if you have any questions concerning coaching, how it works, there's an audio also. It's like 38 minutes long, but I made sure I covered everything. Um, Please get familiar with my material. Please get familiar with my material. I'm very direct, very straightforward. I will never disrespect you. I'm very classy and very polite, but I am also aware of how much suffering you're already endured, and I feel for you. And for that very reason, I'm very direct, and I do the job that I wish somebody did for me and just told me straightforward what the fuck to do. And my opinion is my opinion, but nevertheless, this is how I differ from a therapist, where you can be going to therapy for ages. Now, parenthesis, if you need therapy, go to therapy. Do what you have to do. In fact, if you're in therapy, you're not qualified to be in my coaching. This is not a letdown or abandonment. Like, I'm not abandoning you, okay? Don't get into your situations with me. It is because I'm aware professionally what I can and cannot do. Okay, so I'm not qualified to be a therapist, and nor am I. I am allowed as a professional, as a coach, to give you my feedback. And you need, if you agree with my point of view, if you resonate with me, my message, the way I think, you need somebody to snap you out of your bullshit. Okay, you may know exactly what you're doing and this and that, but living in dysfunction is a choice when you're aware that you're living in dysfunction. And sometimes you do need help. What can I say? So it's okay to reach out and ask for help rather than not do anything at all. Okay. So, all right. Thank you everybody for joining. I don't see Katya. Hold on. Oh, hi, Katya. Me and technology. Don't you know the saga continues? Anyway, you guys hear me okay though, right? Somebody, Katya, can you hear me okay? This, okay. I assume that yes. So I'm gonna keep because that echo cancellation is checked off. All right. So I have a long list. First, I started out with 10 things to do immediately to have your SP glued to you. Now I'm like up to 12. As I was writing the notes from my live, I upgraded it to 12. Oh, thank you, Katya. She said, "You look so beautiful." Thank you. Yes, you can hear me. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah, I found this hat. This hat is like, oh my God, you won't believe how old this hat is. This hat is like 20 years old or some shit like that. It's crazy how time flies. But anyway, so we're gonna go dive right in, and I'm going to expand as I go. So look at this really quick disclaimer. I owe this to you guys. Again, this is assuming you have done no, excuse me. This is assuming you're doing it by yourself, and this is the list. And don't you know I'm so fucking generous with you? Whip out your notepads. And this is assuming this is not an abusive relationship. Okay, those two things. All right, because if you're in coaching with me, I take care of you. I just customize the coaching for you, for your needs. This is why, again, this is why the honesty and the truth is so important, because I don't just copy and paste the same shit from client to client. And I've heard that so much from my clients, that that's what coaches do. I don't hate on these coaches. You got to understand the difference. They just really do it for themselves. Like the way that they behave, what I'm hearing is awful. So it has to be custom made to you. Otherwise, no go. Like, how are you supposed to succeed like that? Anyway, I get it's really, my blood boils when I hear stories like it really does. All right, number one, chances are, if they're not glued to you, you're chasing. Okay, even energetically, you could be chasing, right? So what's energetic chasing? For a second, you looking up on them on social media. you wondering if they're upset with you, this is why they're not calling. You wondering if somebody else is better than you for them, even though right now at the moment there is no third party. I mean, I've heard stories where like people chase them so much energetically that they have created a third party, right? So this is chasing when your energy is outwardly positioned and you're thinking that you need to do this desperate energy work. Parenthesis here about the energy work that I do teach in my coaching. You're already doing it. You're already doing the energy work, but I just teach you to be aware of what you're doing. Okay. So when you're chasing this way, you're not demonstrating physically, but energetically, you're sending out a clear message that I'm not somebody important. If I need to chase this person, then you're not going to get this commitment out of them. You're not going to get this glued to person. You're not. What you're going to produce is the opposite result, because if you're chasing, they're running away. Just understand that. Energetically chasing also could be watching too many fucking videos instead of just addressing the problem. And the issue is usually within you, because you're producing the separation by more or less, in a nutshell, telling the universe, I'm not important, somebody else is better, I'm not qualified to be this person's wife or whatever, girlfriend or boyfriend or husband. Okay, now in 3D, in this kind of like conscious state, you may say, no, I don't say that. Energetically, that's what you're saying. So you kind of owe it to yourself to become energetically intelligent what it is that you're doing. Because I talk to a lot of people, and not for nothing, segue here, or side note here rather, a lot of people are so hung over on this like need to think positive that they push themselves into trying to believe that that's how they think, but they don't think that way at all. They're actually inside, they really just are ashamed of their feelings, not ready to confront them. Okay. So no, this is when like no kind of affirmation or anything will help you until such time that you really open up and accept yourself for feeling things. This is a much more productive endeavor than you'll ever know. Make friends with you like that, you will be on top of the world in manifestation. Okay, chill the fuck out. That's still step number one. We're still on one, 12 minutes into it. Chill the fuck out. This is not nuclear physics. In other words, this has been done before by men. You don't need to be ultra smart, ultra gifted, or ultra anything. Just understand that this world is energetic. Okay, you need to stop the chase and you need to chill the fuck out and stop worrying. Number two, very important. Very important, very important for all of you that I know of this channel and coach, especially, excuse me, know that they're not going anywhere. Know that they're not going anywhere. Okay. This is not your childhood. Okay. So I feel a lot of the time people are projecting unconsciously, even though, um, what they learned in childhood, and the expectation is now so deep ingrained and learned within you that even though this SP does not exhibit these signs, they're just doing whatever, they're just being neutral, let's just say. But if your fears start augmenting and they bubbling up and you start being insecure, and now you are kind of like projecting this onto them, and thus creating a self-fulfilling prophecy, that's the situation. And I've seen this more often than not in coaching. Okay, the SP on his or her own is like a blank canvas. What are you putting on them is so important. So they're not going anywhere physically. You can summon them, you can make them disappear, you can make them appear. Now, If you're in separation with this person, you also created the separation. I don't need to tell you, you already know this stuff. But to find out why, if you're saying consciously, I want to be with them, but I made them disappear from my life, and now it has become, maybe it's years later or months later, and now it has become such a big deal in my mind. I can't even bring myself to think like what will have to shift that they appear. Well, it's, the further points that I discuss will kind of go into it, but understand this is not your childhood. If you were abandoned in your childhood, if you were neglected in your childhood, this is for you to sort it out. You can't keep projecting things on people and then expecting them not to act on it. So if you're really, really honest down to the details, and kudos to you if you can be brave enough to be honest with yourself, with a coach or whatever, because I know it's hard, but this is where it starts, where the real progress starts. It becomes a lot easier for you to realize what you're actually doing and what you think you're doing, what you want to be doing, kind of deal. You kind of pushing yourself into this manifestational box that, most of the coaches created, that is impossible to fit into. Nobody can do this. What you can do is become aware of how you're vibrating. Finito. That's it. If you master that, you're golden. So, okay, this is not your childhood. Then, number 3, pull your energy back. Again, this has very much to do with chasing, but to pull the energy back is to really become aware that you are the center of this creation called your life, this canvas. So, in that sense, asking for solutions, or you come and make me feel a certain way, is backwards. You also know that. So pulling the energy back and rather, again, consulting with yourself. What does my higher self? And if learn how to meditate, and I teach meditation very differently than most people. I never learned, for example, how to sit in a lotus pose or close my eyes even. I find this very fucking discombobulating. So I do it in a different way. And we talk about in coaching, but I think when you pull back the energy and you really start to be able to tap into that higher self who knows all the answers and is giving you all the answers if you ask, then it will become quite clear how it is that you really should conduct yourself going forward. Okay, that this outwardly positioned situation is against your nature. You should become the magnet that you really already are. So pulling back your energy and not trying so hard and not worrying so hard, that's a must do. They're not going anywhere. Therefore, by pulling back your energy, you're becoming more magnetic to this person. Okay, so you kind of knew that already. Number 4, redo the interpreting in your favor. Whatever is going on right now, even if they're not being hunky-dory or lovey-dovey to you, every situation has an interpretation that can serve you. Okay, it can serve you how? I don't know. You know your story, I don't know your story. But if you automatically go day in and day out and you concocting stories that have a negative effect on your self-esteem, what you should expect, your self-worth, etc., this needs to fundamentally change. You're predicting things as you go. So you, number one, you need to become your number one fan. And if you're number one fan, like people say I'm arrogant, I'm not fucking arrogant. I just know my worth. I'm confident because I've worked on myself. Okay. So if that's arrogance, you have your kind of like worldview a little bit twisted. Um, but you owe this to yourself rather than punishing yourself, rather than berating yourself like your mother or father used to do, or whoever, and punishing yourself by not giving yourself the full experience that this earth experience has to offer. You're not doing anybody a favor, trust me. So interpret everything in your favor as you go along. That shitty thing is also in my favor. That's somebody who's did this, that any other, disappeared on me, blah 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 blah. also in my favor. Whatever the situation, it's in my favor because, and if you're really honest again and meditate on it, you will see the gift that every so-called shitty situation has in store for you, even if learning more about yourself. And that, I mean, is a gift. You've heard me say this like numerous of times, that only, quite frankly, I owe all my haters all throughout my life a big thank you, because they made me into who I am, beginning with my mother. They really, I built my strength and character on being bullied my entire fucking life. I'm used to it. You know why? Because I trigger people, too truthful, too whatever, to things that they want to be and apparently think that they can't have. Anyway, hold on one second. Mm, let's keep going. My stupid lipstick. Okay, hold on. So interpret everything in your favor boldly. This is not selfish. You owe this to yourself. Number 5, replace the energy of a chaser with the energy of the one being sought after. You're it, baby. You really are. Okay, this is like the biggest part of it, I feel like. But that you don't know that you're it, and that your SP should be glued to you and should be chasing you, in fact, that's the entire difference between somebody who's sought after and somebody who's fucking not. Okay? So you could be the most wonderful fucking person, the most gifted, the most blue, blah, blue, blah, blue, blah, blue. And you know what? Your self-esteem and self-respect or self-confidence is in the fucking toilet, and that's it. That used to be me. And people used to look at me and like, why do you choose all these like weird guys? What is wrong with you? Like, don't you have a mirror at home? And I would be like, well, I don't know what I would say. Actually, I don't remember. Totally kind of erase those memories. I don't know what I would say, but it wouldn't be anything good. Okay. So why? Because I didn't know I had all the qualities to go and get the guy I actually wanted. I always settled. Okay. I always settled for what I thought I was worth. And to the outside people, it looked oh so fucking weird. It looked like, seriously, like you have a mental disease right now. But you see what the lack of self-esteem produces, such radical like discrepancy. And I'm telling you, that's almost all of you guys. Seriously, like I would say all of you. You don't understand like how much of a golden fucking Buddha you are. Doesn't I don't give a fuck what kind of, faults or imperfections you can find about yourself. If you're genuinely a nice person who's looking to invest in self improvement and understanding their life, like you've won in life. All right, you've won, because there's so many people who would rather just be jealous and just crazy and a stalker and do some weird shit. You genuinely just want to do good in life and produce good results and this and that. There are so many people that don't want to do this shit and just maybe take it from another person or fuck somebody over or just ridiculous things. But you finding yourself in this position just automatically understand you're one of a kind. I'm so serious, because I myself had to find out, because even my guy told me, "Do you think everybody's like you?" No, they're not. I'm like, "Well, thank you, but I already kind of knew it." Um, anyway, but you should really appreciate that. You should really appreciate that anything you do correct, appreciate yourself for it. Anything you've done today correctly, just appreciate being yourself, today. Where was I? And never think somebody is above you. Never kiss anybody's ass, okay? You're equal. If not, you have more, maybe something to offer. Like in terms of maybe business or even in relationships, they're interested in you because you have something invaluable. And I think you not knowing that, you are ending up selling yourself short. When if you just dust off that self-esteem and self-confidence and go to town, and listen, sometimes with confidence it's fake it till you make it. But when you really step into the shoes of the golden Buddha, there are no fucking compromises. And you will be dazzled and amazed what kind of results this produces when you're just owning up, like finally you're stepping up to your golden Buddha status and you're being confident and you're like, fuck yeah, I deserve this kind of treatment, fuck yeah. But not in like a negative sense, like not in a um with a bitterness attached to it, but kind of like, yeah, yeah, I actually, this is mine. I was conditioned to believe like the world doesn't evolve around me, but actually it does. And it doesn't make me a narcissist. It just means I'm aware, okay, of how my reality creates itself. Sorry, I'm so thirsty. Sorry, Katya, I've been ignoring your messages, but I'm on a roll here. Guys, please thumb up the video so that I can spread the message to as many people as possible. I love it. You're it, baby. Katya says, yeah. What was me for many years? Yeah. Yeah, I think you say you're referring to settling. Anyway, this I cannot emphasize enough. You are it, baby. You're it, you're it. You don't need to be fucking perfect. You just need to be fucking confident. You just need to appreciate who you really are. And the more you open up your eyes to how wonderful you really are. I talked about it in the last video. Go watch it. Not the audio, the video before that. You need to open up your eyes to how beautiful and wonderful you are. You really owe this to yourself. People look at you weird when you don't do that because they see how wonderful you are already. Everybody's in on the secret but you. Okay, so look at yourself in the mirror today and say, I fucking love you, dude. Or I love you, darling. Okay, you are magnificent. Look at how far we've come. Holy shit, fucking bananas. Look at all the accomplishments. And I don't care where you are in your journey, you've accomplished a lot. So pat yourself on the back today. Bigly, big time. Roll on, says Katya. Katya, sometimes you just say the funniest of things, I swear. To you, maybe not so funny, but to me, really funny. Anyway, um, okay, number 6. Fundamental questions to ask, right? Are you excited about your future? Do you have a passion in your life? Or is the SP the sole source of your joy? Is this pursuit for happiness in marriage or being a couple or that person specifically as a symbol to your happiness, by the way? So only a symbol they are, but still a lovely symbol nevertheless. Are they everything that you feel good about? Or there are other things that should be there that complete you as an individual? In other words, the other stuff should come first as you as completing you as an individual, a representation of who you really are, exploring that. Perhaps maybe you don't know what that is right now. Maybe you're stuck in a job that you fucking hate, and I've helped so many people quit their jobs. It's like I'm the job quitting coach by now. But true story, because you can't excel at something that you hate. So you have to have this passion in life. You have to have this joy. I can't imagine my life without what I'm doing. I purposely and specifically after quitting, excuse me, quitting, after like it was a job as which it was after leaving my last relationship behind before I got to work on myself. I meticulously designed my life in a way that it brought me joy 95% of the time. And that, of course, included what I did for a living. And every business that I'm involved in brings me enormous joy. Okay. For you, it may be regular. Okay. Whatever, some ideas, if I shared them with you. But to me, they mean a lot. Actually, they're not regular at all. I'm not going to say that. But to you it might not interest you, in other words, but to me they're so exhilarating that it's the energy that pulsates through my veins each and every single day, with or without my SP. Okay, very important. With or without my SP, with or without your SP, you should be fucking happy. You should be a happy individual, don't you? Now, listen, everybody has their moods, okay? There's some mornings I wake up, I'm like, nobody talk to me until I say so. All right, so whatever, women we get these days, right? So, but for the majority of the time, right? And of course, everybody's allowed being moody once in a while. But for the majority of the time, you have this access to this inspiration that feeds your life so eternally, eternal for generations to come if you wanted to pass it on. That's how I think, at least. Hi Zara, Katya's laughing. I'm free from my past occupation. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I completely zoned out. I was thinking of so many people, but yeah. And you know what? Nothing gives me more joy than to help a person quit their boring job. I feel for them how I felt when I quit modeling. I mean, it may not be an equivalent for you, but kind of was for me because I really hated it. Anyway, and the money was, it was okay. It was okay. Let me not, it was fine, but I made so much more the first year I quit. So anyway, um, right. So is there a passion in your life? That's number 6. Number 7, are you making the money you want, and are you living where you want to live and how you want to live and with whom you want to live? Okay. Now, if it's not with your SP, that's fine, but you know, your living situation is really important. Why? Because again, it's a representation of who you are. It's a representation of your psyche. It's a representation of your ability to create. Okay? So if something is right now in transition, definitely work on that because and when people get overwhelmed and maybe the whole life is kind of like a little bit of a shit show, then just focus on these key elements: how much money I'm making, where do I live. I mean, start with that, okay, and worry about the self-esteem later. Because it, truth be told, I've met many individuals in my coaching like that. When it's the SP situation is like the least of your worries. You need to arrange your life first. And that is, again, priority numero uno. Okay. So, how much money you want to make and living where you want to live. And that is super duper important to identify. And don't ask yourself questions like, will I be able to afford it or how it's going to happen? Just come up with an answer of what it is you clearly want and worry about, or never worry about the how actually, but identify, because I feel like sometimes it takes people a minute because of their beliefs, the blocking, limited, blah, blah, blah. It takes them a minute to come to what they really would rather ask. In other words, if you'd rather make $1 million a year, why the fuck are you asking for 100,000? That kind of situation. If you really rather live in a house somewhere in the woods, then why the fuck are you doing something else? Let's just say, what is your ultimate vision? And that kind of oh wait, before I go there, number 8, become okay. This is really important. Some people call it surrender. To me, it's not surrender. Not that I'm control obsessed or anything by any stretch of the imagination, although I do think that you have to control your vision in your mind in order to see it through to manifestation. So if that means control, maybe, but it's just being deliberate and on purpose, fueling energy towards that creation so it comes through sooner rather than later. But becoming okay with the way things are at the moment, okay, is super drooper important. Why? Because if you're complaining, if you're uncomfortable in a situation, even though it may be uncomfortable, there's resistance. You're invalidating the situation as something that doesn't belong in creation. You cannot eradicate creation. This is a part of creation. You lived it or living it now. And that was part of your journey. And fucking honor that shit. Even though it's uncomfortable, it's hard, it's painful, doobadoo, doobadoo, doobadoo. The suffering stops when there's acceptance. This too is part of my journey, and I appreciate if you can bring yourself to appreciation, at least understand. bring yourself to understanding, yes, this is part of my journey and I don't really want to struggle against it anymore. You know, I feel like people, when they struggle against ideas and they struggle against how somebody behaved against them and they want to change it and they want to correct it, how about acceptance? I accept. This is okay. Everything's okay. All right. So that is really important. And in my own personal life, like when I was manifesting something big, um, nothing really is that big. In the last kind of stage of manifestation, I always found myself maybe a little bit kind of like, come on, let's hurry up already. Let's go, let's go. But I would then catch myself and say, no, 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 wait, let me just like relish this moment. Let me just like relish. Maybe in your situation, relish is not the fucking verb that you want to be using, but nevertheless, let me just accept this reality. There's nothing wrong with this reality. Perfectly fine. Let me kind of like embrace this, accept this one more time before there's a turnover. In that, you're thanking this parallel reality, parallel timeline for all the lessons, and then naturally you glide through into another quantum reality. Excuse me, quantum timeline. I don't know. I'm already confused. So that's how you glide without resisting, without criticizing. Very powerful stuff. Um, Number 9, create a new vision. Okay, so you don't like this. What do you like? What do you prefer? A new energy. So this is when acceptance and kind of like surrender, if you will, just kind of like surrender in the sense like relinquishing this resistance of I hate you, I hate the situation kind of deal. Okay, just you'll see, like, even to tap into it for like a moment. I accept, this is okay, everything's okay. It's kind of like, my God, I forgot his name. Anyway, is a teacher from The Secret. Uh, Ask yourself a question. He's a pastor too, the teacher from The Secret. Anyway, he was on Oprah and everything. He said, ask yourself a question. If you had to live out the situation for the rest of your life, what kind of qualities would you need to acquire? And of course, you will never live some situation for the rest of your life, but it usually comes with this kind of like a message of patience, maybe acceptance, understanding, and being one with your lesson, you know. Katya says, just decide it served you. Right, exactly. So new energy comes right after that, after you parted with this shitty energy, but on good terms. And now you're in a position to create brand new. In a sense, you've cleansed yourself. This is what we do in coaching when we process emotions. Super duper important. And there's ways to do it that are a lot less rigid than anything I've heard out there, again, because it doesn't require you to believe in something that you cannot. I always go along with making it as smooth and comfortable for you as possible. Okay, again, custom making, because there's some things that you just cannot negate. Again, you cannot eradicate stuff out of the creation. You can smooth your perception. You can create ways of letting go of those emotions and refresh your understanding and perception, because chances are what you did as a child and how you viewed the world as a child, you would have a different interpretation had that situation happened to you today. So this is where it's really, really useful to process the event anew and arrive to a new conclusion. A new energy, a new future, something to look forward to. You need to have something to look forward to every morning that you get up. Again, is your passion there? Is part of your vision is being worked on? Okay, I coach in my coaching where I give you specific instructions what to do in the morning. Okay, you always need something that you're working on. If you identified your goal, little baby steps are to be taken day after day. You can't just like let it up to interpretation. Let's just manifest something. Well, you're in charge of the whole orchestration. You need to produce results daily in that sense, whether you are kind of like taking action in the 3D, whether you are kind of doing the things that you can in order to help the orchestration go smoothly. Okay, so there's very much stuff to do for you every day in order to act on your new environment, on your new passion, on your new identity, new creation. Without this, you will be lost again. I'm just going on the assumption again that you want to keep this guy, you want to keep this girl. If you don't have your identity strong like this, if you don't have your visions, your goals, if you don't understand that every single day that you wake up, you owe yourself to put another brick into your empire, I don't know how to talk to you. Okay, I really don't, because I'm going only on the assumption that you want to be the narrator of this relationship. You want to be in charge. And if you're not in charge, things as you see now, they go kind of like bonkers or sideways, I should say. So, something to look forward to. This is a must do. This is a must do. This is a must do. Number 10, send love and forgiveness towards your SP. Very important. Whatever they've done, even if you don't want to stay with them, especially if you don't want to stay with them, send forgiveness and love, depending on if they've done something or didn't do. Rebuilding your self-confidence is 11. This is, a separate step because in many cases, I mean, it's a one-on-one situation. So what builds a confidence for somebody else will not build a confidence for somebody different. So what steps specifically for you that you need to exercise thinking differently, having different beliefs that I custom make in the description, what it is that will build your confidence mentally. How would you think were you this person who your SP is glued to? How would you think had you had this sum of money? What kinds of thoughts? Can you overhear this parallel reality? Can you overhear the thoughts of that parallel version of you who already thinks this way? And even though in moments it will be jarring, you can do it in steps and start day by day, but day by day you need to do it. There's no days off in that sense. I mean, unless you want to revert back. Again, it's a lot less rigid than everything that I've heard that people are teaching because it has to do with how you feel. Tapping into the inspiration behind your goal, meaning that parallel reality in which you're already acting on your dream, in which you already are living out your dream, in fact. Those thoughts, they're available to you now, and you can tap in and source inspiration. It will give you the map, okay, towards this reality. Go here, do this, call that one. You're going to get inspired and, I don't know, write an essay or come up with a product or call this woman or call this guy, blah, 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 blah. Something will happen that you will be inspired to act on something or think something, but it has to do with deciding what kind of person you want to become. And if you want to become the one who's in charge of your relationship finally, then you're going to have to think of yourself differently. You're going to have to think of things differently. So that what does a really really confident a person with self-confidence think like, okay, in your estimation, in your kind of rendition, shall we say. And finally, number 12, realize it's up to you to conduct the narrative. You're the source of energy that creates, and it's only what you're permitting yourself to manifest according to the level of self-approval and self-love. What you're allowing yourself to manifest right now is always equal to how much self acceptance and self love you have for yourself. In other words, if you yourself don't approve of yourself and don't accept yourself, it will be evident in the 3D what kind of results you will attract and what kinds of qualities or relationships you will have. Okay. These are all my notes, guys. Wow, 43 minutes. I did well. I really wanted to read everything, so sorry for reading, but I really got inspired when I wrote it, and I was inspired now. Do you have any questions? Anybody has questions? Hi, Katya. No, it's not Greg Locke. It's oh my God, I can't remember now. He's really, really good though. Um, Yeah, I can't remember now for the life of me. Um, I'll look it up later. Any questions? All right. Well, that was easy. Maybe this is it then, so it's easier to rewatch. So again, want to remind you to get into coaching, the 1 hour session first, mandatory. You need to sign the coaching agreement to get into the 1 hour session. Upon conclusion of the session, if we decide to move forward, you need to book the signature coaching package. And I am thinking about not offering coaching by the end of the year. I haven't decided yet when exactly, but I want to kind of change how I do things, as I've said. So the first seminar will be on May 3rd again. You can book on both of my websites. And the on the go sessions, the 8 session package is 2150 now instead of 1850 with because it was one session less. All right, so that's all the info that you need, and thank you so much for coming. Unless somebody has a question, I'm gonna wait a little bit to kind of give you a chance. Other than that, we will conclude. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Ciao, ciao. Bye.